Splicer Pit. With here, you can move on to this one, drop down, and then work your way across the bottom. On the next set, unless you really want to get that screw or extra life, you don't have to worry about it, but of course you could also use the Hornet Chaser in order to grab them as well. When you get here, wait for the platform to appear, jump on it, jump to the next one, then wait, make a jump over to the right, and then immediately jump up into the air so that you can land on the platforms and end up not getting knocked back. After a relatively straightforward set, we land on another platform, be careful to dodge the electrical spark, and then wait a few seconds to get to the next set. When you get here, drop down to the right, and then make your way across the bottom platforms and jump up and make it over. Be careful here because we have a couple of these different chambers that cause clones of Mega Man to appear. Usually I like to use the dual satellite move to protect me as I make my way through so that I can dodge getting hit by the Mega Man clones. You can also use it to take out these robots, so it's very useful for getting through this little area. Up here we have another one being formed, and we have a couple more disappearing blocks. Jump to them and then quickly jump up so that you don't end up hitting your head on the ceiling and end up falling down. You can also use the dual satellite to destroy those electrical sparks as we make our way over. After a big robot, it's time for our battle against Plugman. Plugman is probably the robot master I've had the most trouble with. He jumps around the room and fires 2 electrical sparks out at a time usually, that move across the bottom of the screen and then work their way up the walls, and when they go to the ceiling, wherever you're standing, that's when they're going to come straight down at you. So you're not only trying to dodge him at all times, you're also making sure you're keeping an eye on all those electrical sparks moving across the screen so you can dodge getting hit by them as well. This is one of those battles where you're going to have a lot of really good hand-eye coordination and be able to tell exactly what's going on at all times so that you can avoid getting hit by their sparks. Once we finally take him down, we get his move and we have only one Robot Master left. Our 8th and final Robot Master is Tornado Man, who probably is my favorite overall Robot Master along with Splash Woman in the game. We start off the stage, work your way up the ladder, and then you're going to see this balloon robot. If you shoot the balloon part, it breaks open and ends up flying across the screen at you. So if you want to kill it instantly without really getting hit by it, take it out by shooting the bottom part of the balloon. The big theme for this level is these rotating batteries, and it's going to take a little bit to get used to them. If you jump off when you're rotating to the top, you do a jump into the air. However, if you're facing down and hit the jump button, you fall straight down, so be very, very careful. Work your way along them, and it'll take a few tries to get used to the pattern as you make your way through. When you get here, though, you can't accidentally hit the spikes by rotating, so don't try to make any unnecessary jumps and end up falling into them by jumping. In this area, be very careful of the ice, and take out the shield robots from behind as they move across back away from you. The next screen has an extra big piece of health, so you can grab that, and it's really a nice bonus. Jump up the platforms and take out the Met, then stand on the bottom platform and wait for the Sniper Joe to start firing and take him out so you can hit him without taking damage from his projectile. In this area, the rain pushes you backwards. However, if you're underneath an umbrella robot, you have your normal plane of movement. So you have to be very careful and not accidentally hold the button too long if you're underneath one of these umbrella robots. We We have some more spinning batteries, and when you're making your way around them, be very careful to deal with that extra force that's pushing you back. As we make our way to the next screen, you now have rain pushing you the opposite direction, so you're going to have to make some jumps a little bit more carefully. Usually I like to use the rush jet in order to get over some of these platforms, and I like to wait for the umbrellas to fall down before making my way over the platforms. Be very careful that you don't get hit by one of those umbrellas out of nowhere and end up falling into a pit. When we make it over the gaps, it's time for our battle against Tornado Man. Tornado Man's main ability is that he waves his arm up into the air, causing 4 tornadoes to come out from the ground. They're gonna come in relatively towards you, and if you're careful, you can jump in between them and avoid getting hit by them. When Tornado Man is up in the air and does this, he's gonna come towards you once he gets done with the tornadoes, so make sure that you move away from him when he ends up falling towards you. Be very, very careful when fighting Tornado Man that you don't jump too high when he's using his tornado move and end up getting knocked right into the spikes on the ceiling. Once we defeat Tornado Man, we grab a memory chip, we get his ability, and we get to see a cutscene before we head into Dr. Wily's levels. Before I go to Dr. Wily's stages, I'm gonna first go to the shop and buy a couple of items. I have enough to buy 2 energy tanks, and I'm gonna buy them just to make sure that I have enough health in order to get through Dr. Wily's levels. As you can see, you can buy extra lives, you can buy beat items, which will save you from falling into pits, as well as you can actually buy a helmetless Mega Man. Just like always, we get to see Dr. Wily in his spaceship as we move towards his castle before we head into the levels. As we begin Dr. Wily's level, Stage 1, we have a couple of those little robots we saw on Magma Man's stage. so in little short jumps you'll be able to hit them. Next up, we have those robots that come out of the pits along with the owls from Concrete Man stage. So be very careful and stop right before the edge to take out the robot from the pit, and you can get a good shot in on the owls as well. For the big robots, you can fire at their shield, which will cause them to start moving. When they get close to you, they're going to start shaking and they're about to push their shield down on you. So make sure you step away or do a quick jump over it, and once you get past the shield, start immediately firing a lot of shots at them to take them out before they end up firing projectiles at you. On these platforms, you have to use Tornado Man's ability in order to get the platforms to move up. Up here we have two of those big red robots again. Fire at one. As you see, once his shield starts shaking, jump over the shield and avoid getting crushed by it. Make it over the giant gap and fire once again at the shield, wait for it to be pushed down, jump over it, and fire at him so that you can avoid getting hit by it.